Jayson Tatum wants the accolades, he wants the individual stuff, but he also wants to win. But he doesn't care about the individual awards that much, but he does enough to make these comments about how he's being punished for losing the finals. And I got some news for Jayson Tatum today. You're also being punished for choking last year. You're also being punished for not being able to get to the finals more than once during this entire era of great teams that you've had with the Boston Celtics. You're being punished because you're not the driving force behind your team every single night. But this guy just came on a podcast. He got on Malika Andrews and he started feeling himself. Not that hard to believe. What happens when a lot of these guys get on the podcast, when they start talking to these pretty ladies and they start losing their minds? Because best player in the league, what have you accomplished that could possibly give us the idea that you're that? You're not that. Yeah, you're a really good player. You're in the top 10 players in the NBA. Currently, you're the best player on the team with the best record in the NBA by far. And that's pretty good. You know, you should just have that. You should just take that and not really just jump all the way to best player in the league. I understand it's good to have confidence, and a lot of Celtics fans are probably going to just say, this is great, he has a lot of confidence, and he's confident enough to lead us to the championship, but don't do this, because this is just gonna bounce back and hurt you when you inevitably show that your team is fraudulent once again, despite the fact that this is basically the closest thing to a super team. Honestly, it is a super team. This is one of the most stacked, loaded, juiced starting lineups I've ever seen in my life. Draymond agreed with this, that he's punished for losing the finals. Now, Draymond, maybe he just has a little bit of a different perspective on this because of the context of which maybe Tatum didn't want to phrase it like that. He didn't want to say, oh, I'm punished because I stunk it up and I shat myself on the big stage. That's exactly what he did. He would not be lying to say that. Instead, because I lost the finals, we lost the finals, he definitely lost the finals. There have been other players that have lost the finals and then won an MVP afterwards. Kevin Durant, the best player on that team, he comes back, he wins the MVP award a couple years later. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, teammates of his also share that same quality. Yes, it was a long time ago. Perhaps the MVP award has changed a little bit. The way that we give this award out. It used to be the standard that the best player on the best team, as far as record goes, would generally receive this award. Jayson Tatum, for the second straight year, looks like that's the role that he's playing. He's the best player on the best team. That being said, the era that we're in now, it's all about stats taking precedence. So I will say, in Jayson Tatum's defense, if the NBA was evaluating the MVP award the way they used to, he'd have a better shot. I'm not going to say that he would win it. It's not like a default outcome that the best player on the team with the best record always gets the award. That's not how it works. But certainly, it was very often that would be the case. Now, Jayson Tatum has never won an MVP. Matter of fact, he has never sniffed an MVP. He finished 4th in voting last season. And guess what? That was a record high for him. This man caught a whopping 1 third-place vote. The case has always been that there are these 3 guys, this holy trinity of international giants that run the league. Especially during the regular season, they run the MVP award because they play games and they win them and they put up stats, and they are the driving force behind their team every night. That last component is the key one because it is the quality that Tatum lacks the most. He is not the driving force every night. He is the best player on a really good team, but he is very replaceable on this team. Whereas the other 3, over the last 3 years, they dominate the MVP ballots because you can't just take them off the team and be the same team. Their absence transforms how their teams play, not in a good way. He plays for a great team. He is the best player on currently the best basketball playing team in the NBA, and yet he has not overcome the fraudulent reputation of the Boston Celtics. This team has fraud labeled all over it until they prove us wrong, because they did this last year. They're a really good regular season team. They can't miss in October and November. Who cares in May? Does it really matter if they shot 50% from 3 back when we were trick-or-treating? Listen, their offensive rating is 6th in the NBA when he's off the court. That's not better than it is when he's on the court. I'm not saying that they could possibly be better without him, because they couldn't. He is their best player, but he's just far more replaceable than the other candidates for this award. Jayson Tatum is a great defender. probably the area he doesn't get enough credit for, because off the ball, on a switch, everywhere on the defensive end of the court, he is competent, he is above average. That being said, he is still surrounded by all defense caliber guys, or near all defense guys this year, and just has been for years. It's been the case of the team. The last thing I have to say is, in this guy's defense, he is the team's truest playmaker on the court. Drew Holiday is not a floor general. Derek White is not a floor general. Jaylen Brown can't dribble with his left hand. Peyton Pritchard only knows how to shoot. He's the guy. Jayson Tatum is the guy that is going to have to make the play every time. So I will give him that. And that's why this team isn't good in the clutch. They don't have a pure point guard. And he has to be that guy. And if it's going to be him shooting the shot, who's going to give him the ball? Someone's got to set him up. Sometimes, at least.